It's Movember, day 30, and this is the end of the campaign. I have got a few more videos I want to upload, but I thought, because I've just had a shower and I'm getting ready for my day, that I would do a thank you video and show you what you do with a silly big old mo. So got a couple of things here. Got some mustache combs. Some are good. This one's pretty nifty. All the kids like this one. It's a flick knife mustache comb. And the two things I use for this mustache to wax it are Perry Nobleman's mustache wax, and then to stiffen it up a little, Captain Fawcett's mustache wax. There's even a ylang one in there if I want to get spicy. So what I might do is, as I'm doing this, just talk a little bit about Movember and why I do it. I never used to have mustaches, thought they were a bit weird, but when I had my first son, he was really into Super Mario, and he sort of liked the fact I could grow one, and I like wearing dungarees, even though I got my going out dungarees on right now, not the blue ones, and just got into the habit of wearing them, and now I work for myself. That's what I do. I just wear these, and I have been interested in men's health. I've been in part of 12-step recovery since I've been 22 years old, and I never thought my life was going to end up that. As a boy, I hoped to be a writer or a soccer star, and I like poetry, and before I knew it, due to my addictions, I ended up working as a boilermaker, and I was grateful that I got that job, and grateful to Les Swinfield and LEAC Engineering for taking me on. A young kid that was dyslexic and didn't know it, ADHD, and didn't know it, and in trouble and didn't know it, and he got me my trade. That was no mean feat, and I think mainly because he was kicked out of schools himself. And but when I got into recovery, I learned pretty quickly. I really liked, responded to starting to make friends that really started to tell the truth. In my family system, we just hid a lot of stuff. Mum was unwell. We didn't know how to talk about it. I was much harsher, if you go back in my recovery, looking at that stuff, than I am now. I get my mum did the best with what she could. I was released at birth by a birth mother who was coerced, at the time by her grandmother that she kept me, that she would be disowned, and would have been a hard decision again for a young girl, 18 years old, knowing what to do. So I look back much more compassionately. But when I got into recovery, I found relationships really hard. I found problems with other things other than once I put drugs and alcohol down, and that got me to Codependence Anonymous, and that got me to looking at family systems and looking at trauma. And all those words, codependency and that are really unpopular now. I get it. And because we've moved on, a lot of us got into recovery back at a time when we couldn't MRI a living brain. We couldn't see what post-traumatic trauma was really. They used to call it shell shock for people in war. And we didn't really even understand that post-traumatic growth was a thing. So, I'm grateful that I now am a therapist that's lived for 35 years in an era where we've seen technology change, and we've had to change with it. And I'm grateful for it. But one thing that going to Coda and looking at my relationship with my dad and other men got me is into men's groups. And I've been going to men's groups ever since. This morning, doing the walk, I achieved my Movember figure today. I wanted to walk 250 kilometers. I've been having a cold shower every morning. I've been watching all my friends do all this cold exposure stuff and ice baths, and just didn't have the courage. And so this Movember, I decided to have a cold shower every morning. I've been doing that, and I really have grown to like it. And I got my 250 kilometers walking. I find sugar and that is still a going concern for me, and I'm working on it. But I know the events is a part of the thank you video of being part of men's groups. We had a men's group with John Lee on the weekend, and I've been going to see John Lee talk since the late 80s, 90s, I think early 90s, and had the pleasure of opening up with some drumming for him once when a hospital I worked for bought him out. And that was great. And I really want to thank Dr. Rob Weiss for doing an excellent talk on sex addiction and betrayal trauma, and for a mixed group. And I had the privilege of speaking at South Pacific alumni on relationships, and I'm going to do that talk today and upload it. And I had the privilege of talking to some Australasian therapists on sex addiction and intimacy and the difficulties of repair. And I'm going to do that video today, and that will, with this one, be the 30 videos for this year's campaign. So thank you if you've donated. If you haven't and you want to, that's great. It's a good opportunity for men and men's health, men's mental health. There'll be on my website the code to do that. But for all the people that came, for all the people that have donated, and for anyone that ever gets to listen to any of these videos, I make them because when I was a young man in recovery, we used to pass around cassettes in the car park. We used to make copies at home of resources because we were trying to help each other out. And now with this modern medium, you can share resources just so easily and offer them up. And it feels like once a year I get a chance to do that. And then I can send them out to clients or friends or anyone that might benefit from something I've discovered, because I get the privilege to grow and learn in this work as being a counselor. So with that, I will end this video and say thank you for all the support for this year's Movember campaign.